Hi there. Thanks for joining me in this talk. I'm Christine MacKay, CEO at Salamandra UK. We're visual problem solvers from our studios in Eton, Dundee, and newly opened in San Francisco. We convey complex messages for our clients via animation and design on any platform using 2D, 3D, AR, VR, motion graphics, and stop motion, and mixing it up with live film footage. We work primarily in business, but also in entertainment. And Sal, our mascot lizard, will be joining us today to help with the presentation. So I'll be taking you through today on motion and emotion and how to captivate an audience using visuals, slick animated presentations, and emotion for any industry. In B2B marketing or education presentations, visuals in motion are the best tool in a marketing toolkit, particularly important in what is now a virtual, super virtual world. We are illustrating this by using an animated set of slides for this presentation. So we're bombarded by all sorts of information vying for our attention. LinkedIn, white papers and articles, TV and radio ads, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. And the pandemic has heightened this with every voice trying to be heard whilst being tethered to our desks. During the last 18 months, screen time has gone through the roof. And in fact, Facebook announced that since the crisis arrived in many of the countries most affected by the virus, total messaging has increased by more than 50% and with a 70% increase in time spent on social media. Last year, 86% of UK-based marketeers delayed or reviewed their campaigns, leaving only 14% of marketing activations to continue ahead as planned. It's these 14% of marketeers who have been proactive in their campaigns and managed to adapt, and buyers continue to seek out and engage with businesses at record levels. So online shopping is growing so fast that the global online shopping market size is hit nearly 4 trillion in 2020. And in the US alone, they are expecting 300 million online shoppers in 2023. That's 91% of the country's current population. Using this behavior and being proactive can pay off. 18 months of online-only contact is hard to shake, and people are now more internet savvy. This captive audience is more prepared to communicate, search, and buy online. And now more than ever is an opportunity to share your company, your product story in a human and approachable way. Marketeers need to find this new creative ways to enable them to pitch their ideas, engage with clients, and reach their audience in a way that fits in with this new normalized online behavior. Getting noticed and understood can be difficult in any industry, and this can be even more challenging with the more complex industries and products that have seemingly less glossy entertainment value, such as legal, technical, medical, and manufacturing. And that's because companies in these industries, when communicating, quite often tell and don't show, and often there's not a clear physical product to represent, so marketers may shy away from using visual content. But visuals are key to almost any marketing strategy because we retain images in our long-term memory, and if we want our message or product or idea to be retained, what better way than using visuals? So with regards to marketing challenges, the main challenges vary from industry to industry, obviously, such as, for example, limited marketing budgets in the hospitality industry or building brand trust in the financial services industry. But three of the biggest marketing challenges, particularly in this climate, that can be tackled straight away include, number one, cutting through online noise and competition. Number two, lesser recognized and yet crucial, are attitudes towards products and their target audience, specifically within B2B, and how to present these effectively. And number three, being proactive about generating quality leads. To show the magnitude of the first two of these challenges, in 2019, there were 3.48 billion social media users. And with an audience this large, any marketer would be mad not to try and get their product out there. But with every marketer doing the same thing, it's near impossible to stand out, let alone have your audience engage with you. So how do you start? So as always, start with your target audience. It's important to quash that sort of common misconception that B2B marketing is about marketing to businesses, because whether you're B2B or B2C, you're still marketing to people. So consider your business H2H rather, human to human. And what about the third challenge? Well, with everybody being online, buyer engagement has reached all-time highs, and sales results have surprisingly not come quite close to seeing a corresponding increase, suggesting that salespeople may be reaching out to poor fit prospects. So how do we actually make sure that we're generating quality leads? The answer is actually using presentations, webinars, conference calls, and virtual networking. However, there is one issue, and you need to avoid Zoom fatigue, and science can help us delve into why people are tired of audiovisual comms and how we can overcome this lack of engagement. Firstly, audio has been proposed as the main reason that video meetings are so draining. And secondly, cognitive factors such as an increased ability to virtually multitask threatens our attention capacity even more. And lastly, a rewards cost trade-off that happens in our minds unconsciously in the form of cognitive effort. So the problem that COVID's caused isn't finding our audience, it's that when we get their attention, it's hard to keep them engaged. However, having said that, if the communication is done right, the rewards are immense. Some of the best events I've been to in years actually have been online in the past few months. 73% of B2B marketing and sales leaders say that webinars are the best way to engage high quality leads. And it's for very good reason, because the average webinar, such as this one, for example, the attendee session is nearly an hour. In my case, it won't be that long, don't worry. No other content drives that kind of engagement, so make them look state of the art, smart and super professional, and avoid the old death by PowerPoint with a never ending tiny text. So obviously aim for your target audience and don't overlook the age demographic. With 73% of those involved in B2B research and decision making being millennials, and over a third of those identified as the social decision makers, it's important that we know to market effectively, we need to understand our buyer profile, and millennials have their own preferences for absorbing information. They spend an average of 7.2 hours online each day, and 2.4 of these are spending watching videos. In fact, that figure might have increased by now. The millennial generation of buyers expect the same kind of intimacy, immediacy, and coherency as their favorite B2C brands. Therefore, emotive marketing shouldn't be an afterthought, but seen as an essential to successfully resonate in this demographic. So why is this type of marketing effective in any industry, or is it effective in any industry, you might ask? Well, yes, actually, from seemingly dry industries such as banking to whimsical experiences such as the latest fashion connections, for example. How do emotive videos and marketing presentations solve your marketing challenges? Well, we at Salamandra passionately believe that visual content, particularly visual content in motion, is an engaging and productive form of marketing for all sectors, even those who consider themselves to be difficult to explain. 90% of information that is transmitted to the brain is visual, and we process visuals 60,000 times faster than text. And these actually stay in our long-term memory as well, which is even better. So knowing that over 90% of B2B customers watch videos online shows the impact that motion marketing has on your target audience. But why does emotional content work so well? It's all down to the way we're hardwired. The brain can be thought of as two systems. There's system one, which focuses on emotions and is concerned with our immediate satisfaction. And then there's system two, which is more logical and deliberate. An emotive video triggers immediate reaction in our system one, which affects behavior in viewers without them even knowing it. And with so much content vying for our clicks, it makes sense to aim for system one part of the brain with emotional content to help encourage audiences to take action. Logical content can be used to reinforce decisions in system two part of the brain, and this can be especially useful for short-term sales uplift, but we need to lead with emotional content for long-term brand growth. So let's see this in action. I've got a couple of case studies to share with you. So case study one is a Wimbledon campaign celebrating 150 years of the All England Club with a roller coaster of history and action that uses many different styles of animation and ends up giving you goosebumps, as well as clearly understanding this traditional heritage better. So that's quite topical of the times, I say, but it is a very powerful piece. And imagine having to describe everything you see in words; it would take a lot longer. Case study 2 is a powerful Danish child abuse awareness piece called "Break the Silence," and these animations take a totally different approach, but are both extremely effective in eliciting their intended emotions to the audience. And it crosses time, taboo, sensitive subjects, and language barriers, illustrating how animation can shift your mood and change your perception of a product or a subject.
Hey!
So the key advantages of animation, it's visual, but the movement is irresistible and draws the viewer in. It breaks down language barriers and can be created remotely, which is quite useful in this current circumstance. And it's hugely advantageous for people who want to market internationally. It's editable and easily updated remotely without the need for a full film crew, which can be done more cost effectively. And it can create breathtaking scenes without a Hollywood budget. No need to fly out to amazing locations when these can be created at an animator's fingertips. It makes your brand memorable. Studies have shown that viewers retain 95% of a video's message compared to just 10% when reading text. Imagine plowing through the script of your favorite TV serial instead of watching the actual episodes. It's extremely shareable on all business and social online media, websites, email signatures, presentations, you name it, all very important at present for growing your brand awareness and messages. Consumers are increasingly cynical of advertising and marketing, and younger consumers, especially millennials again, choose brands from companies that share their same values, and 91% of consumers are willing to reward a brand for authenticity. So brands will come out on top if they're transparent in their social media marketing strategies and in the content they produce. Social content such as influencer marketing, partnerships with advocacy, and cause marketing will be the content that actually matters to these consumers and will make brands relevant to them. So actually the bottom line is that authenticity always wins the day. You have 4 seconds to convert someone when they land on your website before they move on. And if you have an animation video on it, it increases it to 10 seconds, more than doubling your brand exposure and client stickiness potential. And including an animated video on your landing page can boost your conversion rate by 80%. A video increases organic search traffic on a website by 157%. And if you use animation to explain the benefits of your product or service to the user, they're more likely to watch the entire video than read the same thing in writing in the written version on your website, allowing your message to get across in an engaging way whilst the user learns more about your business. 64% of people are more likely to complete an action, whether that be fill out a contact form or complete a purchase once they've watched a video. But not all products or services are created equal. But if you can use animation to showcase why yours is superior or unique and elicit an emotional response, then you'll be taking a big step towards differentiation, memorability, and brand awareness, and you'll be ahead of your competition. So how does this apply to future marketing trends? Well, there's still no business as usual. Marketing is mostly staying the course in the shadow of COVID-19. A survey of ad agencies and communication firms found both slowdowns and bright spots during our lockdown periods, but mostly lots of question marks as the situation continues to evolve here and overseas. But history shows that in any economic downturn, one of the first expenses cut is advertising and marketing. And in the aftermath of the 2008 recession, advertising media spending dropped 13%. This downturn was a financial one. Now we've got a global pandemic, which has made similar but more extreme effects on marketing. A survey carried out during COVID showed that 69% of brands initially decreased their ad spending. And for the 31% who chose to continue advertising, the shift from in-person to digital was not only happening in office work groups, but also for advertising, conferences, networking events, comms strategies, etc. And this is why any collateral and presentation made for your brand needs to stand out and resonate. For example, immersive virtual conferences that are built digitally, including the virtual auditorium itself, are designed to make you feel like you're physically present and ensure planned events can still go ahead, only digitally. This rather epic reel that I'm going to show you shows how we've recreated what was originally built in real bricks and mortar conference into a digital event or presentation. you get the idea, this one does go on a bit. So at Salamandra, we have experienced a spike in clients looking to create new digital collateral and hybrid events. So next you'll see an example of how we recently used green screens and trickery to create a virtual stage and 3D elements that pop out, including using AR, all whilst hosting a Zoom talk like this one.
Join me in my virtual auditorium and experience it for yourself. Now, as you can see, one of the best things about having bespoke environments like this one is that it allows you to add elements such as mascots and people and product explosions and product demos, etc., and branding as far as the eye can see. And then we've got multi-screens that showcase products. How cool is that? Engaging data visualization for easy to digest stats. And you can even introduce real-time interactivity, such as the now re-familiar QR codes for AR product visualizations. So check out our QR code here, and you'll be able to see and interact with something that our Lizardy mascot, Sal, uses every day.
So do scan the image with your phone or tablet, and you should be able to see an interactive 3D animation. So how will this affect marketing going forwards? The need is real to increase digital marketing and be prepared for the current trend of online presentations and webinars, which we really think are here to stay. We feel that delegates and companies will be more reticent to pay for and take long flights to attend overseas conferences during this pandemic and beyond. Companies have adjusted to virtual events and consumers have adjusted to digitizing their behavior. This doesn't mean for every single event, but I think that more, or shall I say, a proportion of events will be digital. Even older consumers demographics who may have been previously uncomfortable buying groceries or other goods online have digitized their behavior, and COVID-19 has actually forced them to get comfortable. And experts predict that now they're used to that convenience, such shoppers may be hard pressed to return to their bricks and mortar shopping. And unbelievably, nearly 40% of current online grocery shoppers made their very first online grocery purchase in March 2020. But what can we take away from this? Not only are businesses likely to continue the virtual meetings and presentations trend in order to save money, but we can also take a step back and realize how this has created a change in the way we communicate to our target audience. We've all heard of the cliche, content is king. Well, it seems COVID's placed a serious yet welcome addition to this. Not only do we need to make sure that the content is engaging out there, we also need to place context at the heart of what we're associating our brand with. In the last 18 months, marketers have tread the thin line between selling and helping. In other words, no matter how fantastic your content is, context can render the hard sell extremely inappropriate and insensitive, which can affect your customers' emotions, and these in turn affect the different parts of their brain and therefore their actions. So if we keep in mind the two C's, content and context, rather than just the first, and use visuals, particularly moving visuals, we should be able to deliver marketing strategies that are exactly what the consumer has evolved to want: honest, memorable, and authentic. Thanks so much for listening.